There's a famous story, the ship that never returned. On a summer day when the wind was brushy, da da ba dee da da da, the ship is disappeared over the horizon. I'm sorry, the whole tune escapes me. Da 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 da. The port beyond the sea. Well, that tells a story, and then it became the lovers parted and didn't see each other again. Then it moved on into the 20th century, and during World War I, husbands and wives, little children lost their wives. It was sad when that great ship went down. The Titanic sank, and then it moves on into Boston, and it's the MTA. He paid a nickel.
I don't remember how the words go, but basically he could afford to get in, but he couldn't afford to get out.
He couldn't afford to get out, and so he just kept making the rounds over and over again. And then that turned into a ski song about going down the slopes. And I don't know exactly what happens there, how you got stuck, but it's just one of those songs that migrated and sort of told a history of different times. And there are an awful lot of things in the sheet music collection. You've seen them, Bob. All Coons look alike, but me. All Coons look alike me, or something. And those Coon songs. And that's a tough one to get through if you try to get people to look at the historical perspective of the fact that these Coon songs were accepted in one generation, but now people just, they get very uptight about it. And so I've always kind of felt that you've got to accept things for what they are. The people, we all have, and who knows what we'll be thinking, what people will think of us 2 generations now, because things change. But anyhow, that's something that whole migration of songs really interests me very, very greatly. There are quite a few others that do that.
And that's what I would go to also, as far as the use by many kinds of people, some researchers and some people who are just interested in folk music. As I said when I was talking about this person that I knew from up in the mountains, not really highly educated, but he just loves to find a new song and make a connection to an older song. And there are these groups all around the country that they travel to and get together just to sing folk songs and to kind of trace the history of folk songs and where they come from. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't even realized there was this kind of an underground, of people who were so interested in that area. And he, of course, when I introduced him to the riches of our collection, he just couldn't believe it. He went by picking out, looking for, found a few things and then of course we have to say, well, we really can't let you have these. And so I helped him copy, some of them enough. Mm-hmm. He was, as a lot of folk singers, he can sort of just look at something and hum it through, and then if you give him the words, which I copied down for some of them, that he would remember, and then was off to this group of folk singers, and mm-hmm. with some new tunes. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's kind of something. It isn't anything to do with higher education, but it certainly is something where there's a lot of value in the collection for the populace at large.
Sure, and it's so accessible. These folk songs. We did mention the Ben Gray Lumpkin collection, didn't we? Laurie Samsel, bless her heart, she made it possible. She got the funds for us to put that online, and you can go right online and say name Barbara Allen if you want to. Well, you look it up, and then it shows you right away who performs it, and you can actually listen to it being performed there, and that I thought was really a wonderful thing, because you can listen to just almost any folk song, and a lot of them are humorous, and they're not. Barbara Allen's the most famous one, but they're and then there's a Professor Ogilvy way back. He was an English professor when he was retiring when I just first got to see you, and they have his stories about. He would tell about the fraternity days. The students in the 1920s when he was going to school there. And then he went to Harvard, he got a PhD, and became a specialist in language. But that I thought was, it's nice that you can get back into that and see all of those, not only songs but stories and ideas like that. And then there's songs in that collection about the West. And a bunch of us guys up there on Horse Creek one day, we just sat around and made a song, communal singing. Well, it happened to be Home on the Range, and that isn't a communal song. That's an established song, but they thought it was, they didn't realize that it was. And they had words such as, the Grand River, 19th century word for the Colorado River, and which gives you a little historical perspective on things. And